Aswan is an icon of magic and beauty. It is located in the south of Egypt. It is characterized by its magical nature that made it one of the best touristic destinations all over the world. Aswan is known by its amazing nature, which is the pure water of the Nile that runs amidst the city from south to north. It has rocky islands and rare plant islands that are scattered on the Nile banks. It includes Abu Simbel Temple, Elephantine Island, the oldest city gate, Aswan Temple, Fayala Island, and Nubia Museum. Besides, there's also the High Dam, which represents the symbol of the Egyptian-Russian friendship. Aswan city is the capital of Aswan Governorate. It's known historically as one of the most important cities of southern Egypt and its southern gate. The cataracts of the Nile are located to the south of Aswan and are considered as natural borders between Egypt and Nubia. Aswan is linked to Cairo by railway, desert and agricultural roads, boats and airplanes. Aswan's population is about 900,000 people. Aswan joined the UNESCO list in the field of crafts and art in 2005. Aswan was known as Sonu in ancient Egyptian, which means the market, for its being a commercial center for convoys coming from and to Nubia. The city was also known by the Land of Gold because it was like a treasure or the cemetery of Nubian kings where they lived thousands of years. Before Hijrah, Aswan's border was from Isna till Sudan and its inhabitants were Nubians. But after the Islamic conquer, some of the Arab tribes lived there. The importance of Aswan city started during the ancient dynasty as it used to represent the southern borders of the country. It was the center point of armies during the Middle Ages as they wanted to extend their rule. It's worth mentioning that Aswan played a vital role in fighting the Hyksos. Phiala Island drew the attention of Ptolemaios, where they built a great temple. Romans also established temples with pharaonic designs so they could get closer to the Egyptians. Aswan city is one of the best winter destinations all over the world, as the weather is dry and moderate, the sun is warm, and silence is everywhere. Aswan was known by Sonu in the ancient Egyptian language, which means market. The Greeks called it Sin, and the Copts turned the name to Swan, and the Arabs called it Aswan when they came to it during the 6th century. The importance of the city appeared in ancient times to secure the southern borders. The Aswan High Dam was established during the government of Gamal Abdel Nasser, and the Soviet Union helped in its construction. The dam helped in controlling the water flow and the consequences of the flood, and is also used in generating electricity in Egypt. The length of the dam is 3,600 meters. The width of the base is 980 meters. The height is 111 meters, and the volume of the dam is 3 million cubic meters. It's made of cement, iron, and other materials. It was built in 1960, and the total $5 billion, but the Soviet Union finished 1/3 of it. 400 Russian experts worked in that project, and it was actually inaugurated in 1971. Nasser Lake is the largest man-made lake in the world. It is located in southern Egypt and north of Sudan. The biggest part is found inside Egypt and represents 83% of the lake's whole area, and Lake Nasser, while the remaining part is found inside Sudan and is called Nubia Lake. Aswan Reservoir differs from the High Dam. They started establishing it between 1899 till 1906, and it was Khedive Abbas Hilmi II who inaugurated it. Aswan Reservoir is 946 kilometers away from Al-Anathariya. It was the first and the biggest one of its kind to be established at the time. The first time to increase its height was in 1912, and the second time was in 1926, in order to reserve the water during the flood. The reservoir is 2,141 meters high and 9 meters in width, with 180 gates. They made use of the water coming out of it in building 2 electric stations. First Aswan Generating Station, second Aswan Generating Station. Aswan Railway Station was established in 1898, and the third railway was from Cairo to Aswan. After the British invaded Sudan in 1899, the occupation forces decided to modify the train's direction to be from Luxor to Aswan. The project was carried out in 1926 and the railway extended to Wadi Halfa within the Sudanese borders. Aswan Railways have been developed in August 2017 to be a good representation for the Aswan attractions. It was carried out by the Egyptian Armed Forces Engineering Authority over a year. The project included the development of 4 pavements, new 5 windows for reserving tickets, plus developing all offices. They also established a tunnel under 4 pavements, with 2 exits from the east and the west, in addition to electronic screens in the halls displaying the train departure and arrival times. The bridge was established in 1996 when the cabinet agreed on it and provided it with the needed fund. The new location of the bridge was 9 kilometers away from North Aswan, which enabled the officials to establish new corniche and a group of touristic marinas needed for floating hotels between Luxor and Aswan. Aswan Hanging Bridge was inaugurated in 2002. They used cables to carry installations in order to implement the idea of suspension bridge. It's an ancient pharaonic idea that pharaohs used since the 5th dynasty. It almost corresponds in its design to the shape of a pharaonic ship. That bridge is a symbol of beauty that added a lot to the history of Aswan. The alternative bridge for Aswan reservoirs. The bridge is 300 kilometers away from Aswan Reservoir. It cost £600 million in order to transfer the heavy traffic from above the reservoir and to facilitate traffic between the east and the west of the Nile. The project aims to protect the historical place of the reservoir, as studies proved that cars and trucks' movement above it had really affected the bridge. It cost £2 billion. Its length is 5,400 meters and width is 30 meters with 3 lanes and 2 tunnels. The airport of Aswan City is a tourist international airport that serves the Nubian area. Plus, there is Simbil Airport 10 kilometers away from the city. In 1956, they decided to establish New Aswan Airport with £500,000 in order to absorb the tourists' movement. Abu Simbel Airport. It's one of the airports south of Egypt, which is 2 kilometers away from the Abu Simbel city. In 1964, a committee from the Civil Aviation Authority traveled to Abu Simbel to choose the place of the airport. The domestic airport was established in 1969 with 2,000 meters in length. Elephantine is one of the important touristic destinations in Aswan. It was considered a fortress on the southern borders, and Khnum Temple is one of its famous landmarks. Elephantine name appeared during the Greek age. Noble funerals were made of stones. Their origin goes back to ancient times. The name of every ruler or noble was written on it, in addition to the type of the mission they did. The missing obelisk height is 41 meters. The length of its base is 4 meters. Its weight is 117 tons. The obelisk shows how ancient Egyptians used to cut the old obelisks. Amun Island is one of Aswan's landmarks, where a tourist hotel was built. New Aswan is one of the third-generation cities. It's located in Aswan City and was established with a presidential decree number 96 for the year 1999 and was inaugurated in 2021 by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. It's located on the west bank of the Nile and it is 12 kilometers away from Aswan City. New Aswan City is characterized by its direct location on the Nile. It has health, sports and tourist establishments in order to gather both modern life and ancient civilization. The city was designed to include 210,000 people and buildings for low-income families so they could solve the population crisis which Aswan suffered from during the past few years. The city is 74,000 acres. The first phase is 22,389 acres. The city is divided into residential buildings, services area, an entertainment area, sports and touristic area. New Aswan City includes 2,200 units and 6,720 social housing apartments. 483 acres were specialized for investment and trade. Besides, there is more than 150 villas at the touristic river strip area. As for the services area of the city, it includes schools and universities, clubs, gyms, hospitals, parking areas, ambulances, post office and an administrative headquarter. The country is working now on carrying out a touristic river strip, which will be one of the most important landmarks. It will include restaurants, tourist walkway, and an open-air Roman theatre that has already been built on 5.5 acres. There will be more than 100 villas on the strip in addition to a Nile garden. Finally, we can say that there is a bright future waiting for this magical city.